Hello YouTube, BlueMatona here, and welcome to this episode of Game Guides, where I will be going over how to keep your citizens happy in Rome Total War. So first I want to give a big shout out to the YouTuber WKWalk11, who requested this video basically, so thanks for that, and we're going to get right into it. So first of all, for any beginners of this game, there are a couple different components that go into the unrest of a city, like how your citizens stay happy. So first, you can go into the screen. You see right there, public order, 110%. If it's over 100, you'll have the little green face. That means your people are pretty happy. If it's like between, I think, about 80 and 100, you get this yellow face. Yeah, see that one's at 95. I think 60 to 80 is a blue, and if you're below 60, it's a red face, which means your citizens are very unhappy. So you're going to click here on Show Settlement Details, and then this will tell you all the components of your public order. So really, public order encompasses a lot in this game. It's not just one thing or another. So we're going to go ahead and I guess look at the positives here. First off, pretty obviously your garrison. The bigger the garrison that you have in a city, so the bigger the army that you have inside a city, the more they'll be able to police the population. They'll be able to help out, I don't know, your citizens. That basically they keep public order higher. That it's very beneficial. So if you have a city that it's really struggling, just keep a large garrison inside it. Yeah, other things like really any buildings that you think would make people happier will contribute to their happiness. So there's really kind of two, I guess, aspects that contribute to public order. You have unrest, which can be offset by buildings of entertainment, your garrison, stuff like that. And unrest also usually occurs right after you take a city, so that'll decrease over time as people get more and more accustomed to being under your rule, as opposed to the Greeks or the Macedonians, who owned the city before me. Yeah, so unrest, anything that you think would make the people of a city happier will will make less unrest, so you have better public order. And anything that will make them unhappy will increase unrest. So, for instance, if I raise the tax rate really high up, you can see my public order drop all the way down to 60%, and I get the red face. And if I lower it, it'll go all the way up to 145%. So you can really kind of use your tax rate to balance public order. And also, if I were to build an arena, you see it gives a plus 5% public order due to happiness. Anything that you think would make people happier, so sewers, public health bonus, 5%, that would just increase your public order, essentially. So it's honestly pretty beneficial to build these buildings and kind of really just be able to control your unrest in your city. And then the other major thing that's going to contribute to unrest is a culture penalty. So for instance, I just took this city from the Greeks. So here they have their governor's palace, which as you see if I mouse over it, it says Greek right below it. So basically that means that the culture in the city currently is Greek, which is why there's a culture penalty, because I'm Roman. So that's 50%. So the more Greek buildings that are in the city, the more culture penalty there's going to be. So one strategy that you can do would be, okay, let's click on the walls that are Greek, or the blacksmith, and if you demolish the building and then build up a Roman blacksmith, that'll make the culture penalty lower, because there'll be more, I guess, Roman culture in the building, less Greek influence. Also, the core culture of the city is going to be whoever built the last governor's palace, for instance. So, any building that you build when you get to a population threshold here. So, for instance, the Greeks built the last one, but in Larissa here, so the Greeks had the last one here as well, but I can build my own now because I got to that 12,000 population thresholds. So now I could build my proconsul's palace, which would then change the base culture of the city to Roman, which would be pretty beneficial. It would essentially eliminate the culture penalty. That's the largest factor on the culture penalty. So those are the two that you can really change. And then here you see there's a little bit of a bonus. I have 30% in every single city from owning this wonder statue of Zeus at Olympia. So if you want to really increase your your public order in all these cities, take this wonder. Go take Corinth. It's incredibly beneficial. No matter what city I'm in, you can check any one of my cities. Even all the way over here in Lilybium, for instance, I have that plus 30% for the wonder. And then there's other little components. See, there's the plus public order for health. I think there was a different one here. Let's go back over to Corinth. And yeah, here we have population boom. So the population growth is 5%, which is giving me a little bit of public order. And then let's go into a city that has a general. Let's see. Is there a little bit here? I know management and influence can, especially influence, can really contribute to public order. Yeah, so there. See, this guy has 2 influence stars, wreaths, I guess, and I'm getting governor's influence 10% to my public order. So having a good governor with a lot of influence can help with the culture penalty and everything. And then finally, the 2 other major factors that go into public order in this game are Squalor, which is, and these 2 are pretty much hardwired into the game. There's nothing you can really do to change them. So Squalor, which is purely a factor of your population and the population growth, and then distance to capital. So distance to capital, there's really no way to change that. I mean, my capital here is Tarentum. As you know, you can move your capital more towards where you have a center of cities, but since I have cities over here, and I think Tarentum is pretty centered for a capital. So as you can see, if I went to Carthage here, I have a ton of influence. So I'm getting 35% from governor's influence. I'm getting entertainment value because I have monthly games going, so that helps. Law helps as well. Yeah, there's a lot. My Garrison's big. So there's a lot factoring into the city, but also there's unrest because it's very Carthaginian. The culture penalty is huge. As you can see, all these buildings are still Carthaginian. Distance to capital is pretty far, and the population is 20,000, so there's a lot of squalor. So a way to control and keep unrest, basically, and keep your public order high, is if you were to control population. So, if you up a tax rate, the population growth goes down. Maybe don't build as many farm buildings, because farms also have a population growth bonus. Forums, stuff that gives a population growth. I actually have a whole video on how to manage squalor in this game, because it's a huge topic. So I'll put a link to that in the description if you want to get more details on Squalor, because that's one thing that you can pretty much control with smart building tactics that really helps keep public order high. And then finally, yeah, so distance to capital, there's nothing you can do besides really just keep your capital centered in your empire, essentially. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, really, if you take a city and it has a really high population and they're all going to hate you, exterminating the population when you take it could be really beneficial. That means you low. So that's what I did when I took Corinth. I exterminated the population. That's why it's so low. And because of that, Squalor is only 10%. So as opposed to 75 over in Carthage. So really, it's just going to come down to when you take a city, make sure that if the population's high, exterminate the population. You want to probably replace as many buildings of the other culture as quickly as you can, and also just control the population growth in every single one of your cities. If you're having trouble with the unrest in a core city like my capital here, as you can see, Squalor is 60%. I mean, I haven't done that good of a job, so I have, like, with population growth, so it would almost be worth taking a public order hit here and just keeping population growth low, because I don't want my population growing any quicker than it has to. It really comes down to keeping garrisons, smart building choices when you're building your buildings. Like, I always pick the temples that increase public order and increase tradable goods. I don't pick the temples that increase population growth, because population growth, your population is going to grow enough. You don't want that to be any higher. So pick smart temples, pick smart buildings, keep your people happy, even if it means spending a little bit more money each turn, because in the long run, that's really going to help you out. So thank you all for watching. I hope to see you next time as well. Please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, thanks guys.